buy a house. In this video, I'm not going to show you any fancy charts. I'm not going to show you any fancy graphics. I'm just going to share with you a real treasure trove of helpful info. In my 36 years of real estate experience, not just selling real estate, but actually personally investing in properties, houses, land, condos, and not just in one state, but in multiple states. After losing my hair, I can share with you a lot of tips and advice on what to do. I can share with you what not to do, what to stay away from, and what to look out for. But right now, something is really different. Something's going on that hasn't happened before, and there are some things that are really concerning me. So I just wanted to make sure that you had the knowledge so you understand what's going on. Hi, I'm Jerry Pinkas. My team here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina has helped thousands of people buy and sell homes. And you know, it's a beautiful thing when you have many stories for first-time home buyers, you know, getting into that home and enjoying it, and great stories of people buying a super nice condo on the beach, or helping couples find their perfect home to retire to. You know, these are stories of triumph. When they purchase, you know, if they have excellent income producing property, people get super excited. And I'm here to help you, and that's what this is all about. So we've helped many people, but recently I've made a couple videos where I talk about what's going on in the housing market. And many people really have commented and also called and said, we really don't like what you have to say. But you know what, guys? It's the truth. It is what it is, right? So buying a home today may seem like a really crazy idea. You know, whether you're going to buy today, whether you're going to buy in a couple months from now, or even 3 years or 5 years from now, you know, we all have to agree that we're living in some really crazy times. So if you're expecting some kind of a stability in the housing market anytime soon, you know, I got some news for you, okay? It's going to take a little while for this to keep going. It's going to continue to be a little unstable for the next few years. And what we're seeing is completely different than what we've ever seen before. What's also different is this pandemic, right? So there's this super intense desire to be a homeowner right now, right? Would you agree with that? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, okay? So during this pandemic, people thought the housing market was just going to take a dump, right? It's going to crash. But the exact opposite has happened, okay? So what I'm about to say, it may hurt, and it may even sting, okay? And you may not like what I have to say, but I hope if you watch this video to the very end, and you'll still like me, because I might develop some kind of an inferiority complex or something, okay? So we don't want that to happen. So what you've heard me say in other videos is I'm just trying to make sure that you're avoiding the pitfalls that are costly. So before you even consider, in this time frame, before you even start to consider buying a house, you really need to get a few things straight, okay? I love you guys, but as an example, when you call into our office, our team of experts is super excited to answer all of your questions, okay? But when you're buying a house, you really want to learn everything that you possibly can. You know, there's a lot of things that you want to know, like what's the best neighborhood? This is no matter where you live. You know, what's the best neighborhood? What should I look for, and what should I stay away from? You know, questions like, should I buy a new home, or is it a better value to buy something that's a couple years old and really good shape, or buy a fixer-upper? You know, you want to learn about communities and where is the best one. You know, you want to find the income producing property that's going to give you the best ROI, the best return on investment, or the second home that has upside potential and has the potential to give you the most benefit, right? You know, or which one of those out of all that stuff, which one's the best one, right? So look, the home buying process is not like Amazon, guys, okay? There is no buy now button. I just push the button and it just happens. There's too many moving parts. No matter where you live in the nation, you know, you're setting yourself up for failure, okay? So again, You might not like what I have to say, but if you don't set an appointment to see properties, either one, in person, or two, you don't do like a live video tour, video chat, that sort of thing on site in the property. And if you don't do those things, or if you keep looking at properties on Zillow when on the site it shows that this property is active and it's still for sale, but the real fact is someone else has already toured that property and has already put an offer in. Okay, so the big sites are, you've heard me say this before, but the big sites are third-party aggregators of this information. As a broker, we put this information out there. It gets picked up in the MLS. It gets syndicated to the other sites. And a lot of these big realtors, Zillow type sites, are just generating leads for realtors. They're paying for those leads. You see those little box down the bottom, those are the people who are paying, okay? So what you need to do, though, this is the important part. What you need to do is research live. Whether it's in person or through an appointment or through a live stream chat. I'm not saying to don't do your research online. I am saying that, okay? Continue to do your research online. But look, the internet is a great tool, but it just doesn't answer all the questions. Like everything that you've read on the internet, I know, or that you've seen on the internet is true, right? So you need to do real research. What I mean by real research, not a Google search. What is a Google search? If you don't, when you type in whatever it is you're looking for, you're only going to find what someone wants you to see. There may be thousands of different things that people have said about something, but again, you need to do the real research. The online research is a start, but you need to do the real research, okay? I'm not talking about like asking everybody what's their opinion. What do you guys think? What do you think about this? Or to talk to your second cousin's puppy dog who just got their real estate license. Give you some more examples here. In my office, we had a lady who called in and spoke to our receptionist, okay? The lady said that she really enjoys all of our videos and she's really learning so much. Okay, this is great. This is the idea. This is good. But she's already been talking to someone who she's working with, right? And they seem to be really nice, or they just don't seem to have the same knowledge as what we've talked about in a lot of these videos, and they really aren't answering all of my questions. So I'm going to leave that one alone, okay? But we had another lady who had said she's been talking to a new home community. Now, again, some people are looking for new homes, existing, you heard me say this, but she said that they seemed a little too pushy and all they wanted to do was just sell her something. So please do yourself a favor. Don't be sold, okay? Please, this is what we've been doing for years. I just want to make sure that you do yourself a favor and don't have someone else make these decisions for you, okay? Your future self is going to thank you, I assure you that. If you talk to your best friend, your father, your mother, or even your rich uncle who's made a ton of money in real estate, okay? Or the buyer's agent who's working for you, who's a trusted advisor, okay? Someone who has your best interest at heart, okay? Who wants to make sure that you're making the right move, okay, and is interested in your well-being. That's what I'm talking about here. You want to make sure that all the info that you get is accurate, and otherwise, if all this other information that you're getting is a risk, it's a risk, okay? Things to consider. I just want you to see this. What's being built next door, okay? What roads are coming? What are they getting rid of in the area? What's going to change? Okay, what are the zoning rules? Do we know what zoning is going to happen? Is it commercial? Is it residential? Is it only this thing or that thing, or can other things go? What does the surrounding community look like when you're driving through? What can they build in the area? Is this an upcoming area, or is this neighborhood growing, or are people leaving and they're bailing? Okay, this and so many more things. Like if it's an HOA, what are the rules and regulations? Okay, do they allow dogs? How many? Oh, you got 40 dogs? Okay, great. is there a weight restriction? You see what I'm saying? So like, okay, motorcycles, fun, right? But if you have motorcycles all over the place, or commercial vehicles, somebody's got a business and they're running commercial vehicles and they're parked everywhere and they're coming and going, what are the rules and regulations, if there are any? Here's another thing with like a homeowners association. Is there any pending litigation with the homeowners association? Is someone suing someone? Are they redoing some portion of it? Is there going to be a call for cash? Hey, we got to fix such and such. Or, is it in a flood zone? Because again, or is it in a place that's not in a flood zone, but it does get wet there? You need to know lots of things, right? Or here's a good one. You walk out at night, at 11 o'clock at night, but it smells like a big fart, okay? That's because the poop plant down the road, the waste management plant, the wind blows and changes direction, and they release this gas only at night, and nobody knows about it. Trust me, this happens, okay? Yeah, but it looks great on Realtor.com or Zillow, and it's really priced well, right? Compared to all the others I've been looking for a while, and this is really good. And the pictures of the neighborhood look great. Looks, okay? You need to think about the big picture, okay? The big picture. So it's not easy to find a house on the market right now that's really the perfect house. It's hard. It's competitive, right? The best ones, they're gone. If you've been looking at this stuff for a little bit, you've seen this. You see that they're or you can't find them, right? And what you see is what's left, right? This market is really brutal, and it'll punish if you aren't making the right moves, right? You can get your butt really kicked a few times before you score, okay? It's just like a game of soccer or whatever, right? So because it's so competitive, and to get into we've seen this happen a lot actually, because it's so competitive, you can get into a multiple offer situation and lose out to another buyer. Now, I want you to think back to your childhood, okay? You remember the game of musical chairs? They'd play the music, they'd have the chairs lined up, everybody goes marching, 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 everybody's happy, smiling, laughing, giggling. But when the music stops, someone is sitting and someone is walking or standing there going, okay? So it's like the game of musical chairs. If you get into a multiple offer situation, you could lose out to another buyer. Or you may employ some of the tactics that we use to get your real estate offer accepted in a competitive market. So you got to look at the big picture, okay? If you're going to look at it as a long-term investment, this is what it's all about. Instead of looking for the short-term win, okay, look at the long-term investment, okay? Why? There's no guarantees that you're going to make money. Okay, there's no guarantees of what's going to happen here, market up, market down, low interest rates, high interest rates, we don't know. There's no guarantees if you buy an oceanfront condo, it's going to double in value in the next couple of years, right? You will look at all the upside potential to purchasing a home, but then there's the certain things that you need to enjoy and get out of the benefits for you. Look, don't listen to the advice from friends who don't have a home, okay? It's like, does that make sense? Don't listen to the advice from people who don't invest in properties or don't know anything about income properties. They don't know about the return on investment, what's included and what the expenses are and what it looks like. They've never done it for themselves, so you can't take their advice. But people will listen to family members, they'll listen to friends, they'll talk to everybody about it because they're excited. But just make sure you do your research and that you're knowledgeable before you go ahead and do this, okay? If you're ready to retire, you're making a move to a new area, right? You want to make sure that you're getting the information from someone who actually lives there and can give you the inside scoop, all right? So if you were in a place that was on lockdown, like a lot of us were, right? And a lot of times the house that you were in or the place that you were wasn't conducive to where you are today, okay? So you may need a new home, okay? So a lot of people have thought of this. If you're buying a house because you need more office space, to work from home, or you need another bedroom, okay, because, your family's expanding, or you need that spare room for visitors, or you need more privacy, you want a backyard, you need to move. These are things that are going to happen. So you really need to have your stuff together, your stuff, okay? And so what do I mean by that? I'm giving you the pitfalls that I see that people lose out on things and they don't get what they want. I want you to get what you want, right? So here's some things. I'm going to give you a list of whole things here. Okay, so get your pre-approval letter in hand, or you could lose out. Okay, now why do you do this up front? You want to show that you have the money, you have the ability to do this. And if you're in with someone else, or if the best property goes very fast, you want to jump, right? So you want to get your proof of funds. You want to tell the seller, even if you're paying cash, I got the money, okay? So otherwise, you're just not going to be taken seriously, okay? So make sure that you also know what your total costs are going to be, not just the down payment, your total costs. Make sure you know what your closing costs are going to be. Do you know what your taxes are going to be? Okay, let's take a look at what the taxes were for the previous owner. Let's take a look at what they are around the neighborhood, okay? You want to know what your insurance is going to be. How much is an average insurance in this area? Do I need this, that, or the other? What do I get with that insurance policy, and how much is it going to cost me, right? Appraisals, okay? Think about when you're closing, all these things. How much is an appraisal going to cost with a lender if you're using a lender? Or the prepaids, okay? What do I need to have in prepaids to actually close? You want to get the big picture of your total costs, okay? So there's no surprises, okay? Again, the surprises are the bad ones, right? You want to know up front what everything is. What's in the HOA, what's not in the HOA, what's included. Do I get all this? Do I not get this? What do I have to pay for? Also, you want to have some cash reserves, okay? After you close, your money is towards it. You want to make sure you have enough money for emergencies. You want to make sure that you're comfortable, okay, and not stressed out. You don't want to be stretched, okay? Because the worst thing that can happen is you're in a new home, and it's not going to be any fun when you're stressed out about paying for it, right? So just make sure that you've got that cushion, okay? And lenders are going to want to make sure that you got that cushion, so they feel, and so you can get the whole dollar amount and not just a portion of it, okay? So you want to make sure that you're aligned. Another thing here, you want to make sure you're aligned with the right inspectors, okay? Or qualified technicians, so they can give you the best advice. You can get a home inspector, and some of them can really, check everything off and find, I saw this little nick in the paint and this, that, and the other. What I'm talking about is not the cosmetic. I'm talking about the real stuff, right? Paint, things like that you can do. Inspections. They can be the difference between a deal breaker and a win, okay? Big ticket items, think about this. Big ticket items, for instance, a roof, okay, or an HVAC system, okay? That's a little bit more money than, some other things. Or a safety risk, okay? If it's a GFI that's a plug that's near a receptacle that is near a sink, okay? It's a safety risk, okay? That's not an expensive thing, but like a thing with a roof or AC or that sort of thing, it can make a difference between, a deal breaker and a win, okay? But don't worry about the cosmetic items. Think about this. Cosmetic items, they can be changed. You can change flooring, okay? You can actually upgrade flooring and make a totally different look. You can paint, okay? These are not big, they are costs, right? But they're not like huge. Now, if you get into like upgrading kitchens or baths, it can make a huge difference in the value as well, okay? Now, some things, value can go up, right? Some things you can change, but one thing that you can never change, and you've heard this before, but here it is: location, 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 right? So make sure that you're buying in the right location. Now, for instance, if it's a busy street, okay, you can't change that, okay? If you're next to a freeway, you can't turn that off. I mean, you just can't do it. What it's near or what it's close to, like for instance, if there's stores or there aren't stores or restaurants, okay, you as a buyer can't change that. But if it's on the property, you can change some things. Now, some things that you can change, for instance, the floor plan, you can change, okay? Depending on how much money you have, right? Sometimes it's worthwhile doing, all right? So, and sometimes it's not. It may be the best move, right, to change the floor plan out or to upgrade the whole place or renovate the whole place. If you have this is the pitfall though with that is if you have more money into the house than what it's worth, what? It's not a good move, right? So here's another thing, okay? Traffic. Now, I talked about traffic and where it's located, but here's the thing you want to do. If the house or the condo or whatever it is there, make sure you're driving the community during the day and during the night, okay? Why? Because, certain times of the day there could be gridlock. Or, what happens if you find out that there's a traffic nightmare that happens at a certain time of the day and you're living there, okay? You can't get out in the morning because everybody's commuting or whatever it is, okay? But you've looked at that property only at certain times of the day, right? So make sure that you're driving the neighborhood, you're driving the community, and you're looking at it at different times. Here's another thing. Noise, okay? This can make a really bad problem, okay? So, for instance, it can make the difference between you enjoying your new home or just being miserable. Okay, what if you had a noisy neighbor, drums, music? How about dogs? You've heard me talk about in other videos that the house looks beautiful online and everything. I already knew, my team knew because they had already been there, but there were big dogs next door, right? If you watched that video, give me a thumbs up. But we know these things, and a lot of times you don't because we've already been there. But dogs, oh my gosh, that can be a deal breaker, right? Or somebody in that neighborhood likes to really have parties. Now, it may not be illegal to have a party, but likes to, or you may be not able to deal with some of these things, right? So just check it out again. Make sure that you are investigating what's happening. Okay, that's my point. Okay, the real research, as I've said. Okay, not the internet research. Here's a bonus tip. Another video I did on this was, don't open any new lines of credit after you've applied for a mortgage, right? You don't want to give the bank any reason to not give you the full amount of your loan that you're asking for. Okay. If you've seen some of these other videos, they'll go into more depth, but I'm just covering the highlights here. So, those are mortgage mistakes, more or less, okay? So as a broker in charge, here's the deal. I see every transaction that happens, and I see, the mistakes, okay? And a lot of these mistakes are truly, truly avoidable mistakes, okay? But I see them every single day. And I really want you to avoid these pitfalls that are costly too. I just don't want you to, just to see it. Now, there's so many other moving parts that, when you're working with our team, we're going to go through and things that are going to prevent you and help you and assess and get a better idea of what actually is involved, okay? So if you like this video, go ahead and share it with someone you know who can use it, okay? So if you have questions, pick up the phone and call, because that's what we do, okay? My team does this every day, and they're good at it. You have questions, we have answers. We just want to make sure that you're getting all the information, all the accurate information, and you're satisfied. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you have a great day, and we will see you in the next video along with this guy. He's going to help you, all right? See you guys. Is it over? Is it over? Okay, goodbye.